November 13th, 1943, evening. Aboard USS Zeline, somewhere in the Pacific. My name is Thomas Brennan, Tommy to everyone back home. Private First Class, 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines, 2nd Marine Division. I'm 20 years old. From Quincy, Massachusetts. I'm writing this while sitting on my rack in the troop compartment. The air down here is thick, smells like oil and sweat and the cigarette smoke that never quite clears out. You can hear the engines thrumming through the bulkheads, feel it in your chest. We left Wellington 9 days ago. New Zealand was good to us. 9 months of rest and training after Guadalcanal nearly killed us. Green hills, clean air. People who didn't shoot at you. I put on 20 pounds. The malaria finally left my system. Started feeling human again. Now we're heading back into it. They briefed us this morning. Colonel Shoup himself standing there with maps and photographs pinned to a board. The target is an island called Tarawa. Betio Island specifically. Nobody had ever heard of it. Eddie Kowalski, my best friend from Chicago, leaned over and whispered, "Where the hell is Tarawa?" I didn't know either. It's tiny. The colonel said you could walk the whole length in about 20 minutes. 2 miles long, maybe 800 yards at the widest point. Just a sliver of coral and sand in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But the Japs have turned it into a fortress. 4,500 of them. Elite troops. Naval landing forces. They've had a year to dig in. There's an airfield. That's why we're going. We need it to keep pushing west toward Japan. The photographs they showed us looked bad. Concrete bunkers everywhere. Big coastal guns. The whole island bristling with weapons. One of the intelligence officers said the Jap commander bragged that 1,000,000 men couldn't take Tarawa in 100 years. I guess they're about to find out what 2 divisions of Marines can do in 3 days. Eddie is in the rack across from me, cleaning his rifle for the 10th time today. We do that when we're nervous. Take the thing apart, clean every piece, put it back together. My M1 is spotless. Could eat off the bolt. Sergeant Matheson, we call him Pop because he's ancient, must be 35. He's sitting nearby writing a letter. He was on the canal from the very beginning. Landed at Guadalcanal in August of 42 when the rest of us were still stateside. If Pop is nervous, he doesn't show it. There's a new kid in our squad, Danny something, from Iowa, can't be more than 18, keeps asking questions. What's it like? How do you know when to shoot? Does it hurt? Pop just looks at him with these tired eyes and says, "You'll know soon enough, kid." I should write to Helen, my girl back home. She's a secretary at a law office in Boston. Dark hair, bright smile, writes me every week. I've got her picture tucked into my helmet liner along with my mother's rosary and the St. Christopher medal my father gave me before I shipped out. He works the docks at the Quincy shipyard, built half the destroyers in the fleet. My brother Sean is in the army, somewhere in Italy. We haven't heard from him in 2 months. Helen thinks I'm brave. I wish that were true. I'm terrified, but I can't tell her that. So maybe I won't write tonight. The ship is making these creaking sounds. You get used to it, or you try to. Some guys are playing cards. Others are just lying in their racks staring at the overhead. Nobody's really sleeping. Tomorrow they'll tell us more. Landing beaches, timetables. All the details that sound so clean and organized in the briefing room. Red Beach 1, Red Beach 2, H hour, supporting fires. As if you can plan chaos. I've been through this before. Guadalcanal taught me that the plan falls apart the second you hit the beach. After that, it's just noise and smoke and trying not to die. My hands are shaking a little as I write this. The pen keeps wanting to slip. I wonder if the Japs on Tarawa are writing in diaries too, wondering about us. Probably not. They're too busy getting ready to kill us. God, I need to sleep. We all do. But sleep doesn't come easy when you know what's waiting. Entry 2, November 15th, 1943. Afternoon, still aboard ship. The rumors have been flying for 2 days now, scuttlebutt spreading through the ship faster than the ventilation moves air. Tarawa. Everyone knows the name now. Everyone has an opinion. They held more briefings today. Officer and NCO stuff mostly. But word filters down. Pop came back looking grim. Wouldn't say much at first. Just sat there on his rack cleaning that same damn Springfield rifle he's carried since the canal. Finally, Eddie needled it out of him. The island is worse than we thought. The Japs have built almost 500 pillboxes. 500. concrete and steel reinforced with coconut logs. They've got big 8-inch coastal guns they captured from the British in Singapore. Anti-aircraft guns that can fire flat straight into landing craft. Trenches connecting everything so they can move around undercover. And there's something else. Something about the tide. One of the intelligence guys, some Navy liaison who used to live in the area before the war, he's worried about what they call a dodging tide, neap tide, something like that. Basically means the tide doesn't always rise and fall the same way. Sometimes it just sits there, low, for reasons nobody quite understands. Our whole plan depends on having 5 feet of water over the reef so the Higgins boats can get to the beach. The reef is 500 yards offshore in some places, 800 in others. If the tide doesn't rise, the boats will bottom out on the coral. We'll have to wade in, 500 yards, under fire. In chest-deep water if we're lucky. Pop said the colonel knows about it. They've got these new Amtraks, LVTs they call them, landing vehicle tracked, like a boat with tank treads. They can crawl right over the reef. But there's only 125 of them, not enough for everyone. First waves get the Amtraks, Pop said. Everyone else gets Higgins boats and prayers. We're second wave, so we'll be in the LVTs, the old LVT ones. Eddie asked if that's good or bad. Means you'll get to the beach alive, Pop said. After that, all bets are off. The Navy is going to pound the island before we go in. 3 hours of bombardment. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers. Then carrier planes will strafe and bomb. The Navy guys swear they'll level every structure on the island. Nothing will be left alive. I want to believe that. I really do. But I remember Guadalcanal. The Japs know how to dig in, how to hide, how to wait until you're right on top of them. Danny the new kid asked Pop if he's scared. Pop looked at him for a long moment. Every man who says he's not scared is either a liar or a fool, Pop said. The trick is doing your job anyway. Eddie and I went up on deck this evening. Needed air. The ocean stretched out forever in every direction. Dark blue water. White caps. Beautiful in a way that makes you forget where we're headed. Other ships all around us. Transports like ours. Destroyers knifing through the swells. Somewhere out there are the carriers and battleships. The whole Fifth Fleet converging on one tiny island. You think about Helen? Eddie asked. I do. All the time. But I don't know how to explain that to him. I think about my ma's cooking, Eddie said. He grinned. Pierogi. Cabbage rolls. Real bread, not this Navy garbage. We stood there watching the sun go down. The sky turned orange and red and purple. One of those Pacific sunsets that looks too perfect to be real. We're gonna be okay, Eddie said. You and me, we made it through the canal. We'll make it through this. I wanted to believe him. I nodded, but I was thinking about those 500 pillboxes. About wading through chest-deep water with machine guns firing, about everything that can go wrong. Back in the troop compartment, guys are writing letters. Last letters, some of them. The kind you write just in case. Sealed envelopes marked open if I don't make it back. I started one to Helen. Got as far as my dearest Helen and couldn't go any further. What do you say? How do you explain that you might die on an island she's never heard of for reasons you don't fully understand? I believe we have to fight. Pearl Harbor proved that. The Japs started this. They'll keep coming if we don't stop them. I know that in my head, but my heart just wants to go home. My mother sent a care package that caught up with us in New Zealand. Cookies. They were stale by the time I got them, but they tasted like heaven. She included a new rosary, the beads worn smooth. There was a note. Pray for your brother. Pray for yourself. Come home to us. I've got that rosary in my pocket right now. I can feel the beads through the fabric. Somewhere on Tarawa, 4,000 Japanese soldiers are waiting. They know we're coming. They're ready. They want us to try. 2 more days, maybe 3. Then we'll find out if the Navy is right. If 3 hours of bombardment is enough. I hope so. God, I hope so. Entry 3, November 18th, 1943, evening, 2 days out from Tarawa. They held church services today, Catholic Mass on the fantail, Protestant services in the mess, Jewish services below decks. Everyone going to their God, asking for the same thing. Let me live, protect my friends, give me courage. The chaplain was a Navy lieutenant, younger than you'd expect. Father Morrison. He set up a little altar on a table covered with white cloth, the host in a small ciborium, wine in a flask. Everything makeshift and temporary, like us. About 50 of us crowded around. The ship was pitching in the swells. We had to hold onto stanchions to keep our feet. Father Morrison swayed with the motion but kept going, reading the liturgy from a salt-stained missal. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." The words washed over me. I've heard them 1,000 times. Altar boy at St. Anne's back in Quincy. Sunday Mass with my mother and sister. My father standing in the back because he never could sit still through a whole service. The smell of incense and candle wax. This didn't smell like that. It smelled like diesel fuel and ocean spray and the sweat of frightened men. When it came time for communion, we shuffled forward. The host on my tongue dissolved. The taste of wine, cheap and slightly sour. The body and blood of Christ. I wanted to feel something, some kind of certainty, some sign that God was listening. I just felt empty. After the service, Father Morrison stood by the rail talking to anyone who wanted to talk. I almost went over, almost told him I'm not sure I believe anymore. Not after what I saw on Guadalcanal, not when I think about what's coming. How do you reconcile a loving God with what men do to each other? How do you pray when you know you're about to kill people? When you hope you're good at it? But I didn't go over. What could he say that would help? Eddie found me standing at the rail afterward. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "You take communion?" "Nah, I'm a twice-a-year Catholic. Christmas and Easter. Figure God understands." "You think he's watching?" Eddie shrugged. "My Baptia, my grandmother, she always said God doesn't pick sides in a fight, but he counts the souls." We stood there watching the other ships. Somewhere ahead of us, the bombardment group was already in position. Tonight or tomorrow night they'll start. The first shells falling on Tarawa. "You write that letter to Helen?" Eddie asked. I shook my head. "Me neither," he said. "To my folks, I mean. Can't figure out what to say." "Maybe we don't need to," I said. "Maybe we make it back and tell them ourselves." "Yeah, maybe. But we both know the statistics. We lost how many at Guadalcanal? Thousands. 1 in 3. Maybe worse. And that was a grinding campaign that went on for months. Tarawa is going to be 3 days, maybe less. 3 days of concentrated hell. I've been thinking about Danny, the new kid. He's so young, still has that look like he thinks war is going to be like the movies. Noble, heroic, a clear story with good guys and bad guys. It's not like that. It's just chaos, noise, terror, random death that makes no sense. I want to warn him, prepare him somehow. But you can't prepare someone for this. You can only survive it or not. Pop spent the afternoon checking everyone's gear, inspecting rifles, making sure everyone has their first aid pouch, their canteen, extra ammunition. He moves through the squad like a father checking on his children, making sure we're ready. "Listen up," he said when he finished. "Tomorrow they're serving steak and eggs. The battle breakfast. Eat everything they give you. You don't know when you'll eat again." "Why steak and eggs, Sarge?" Danny asked. "Tradition," Pop said. "Every Marine eats steak and eggs before an amphibious assault. Been that way since Guadalcanal. Maybe before." "Does it help?" Danny asked. Pop smiled, tired. "Can't hurt. The sun is going down again. 3rd sunset since we left New Zealand. Tomorrow will be the 4th. Then the day after that we hit the beach. I can feel it in my chest, this tightness, this knot that won't go away. My hands are cold even though it's warm. I keep having to wipe the sweat off the pen. I'm writing this in my rack. Around me, guys are doing their own preparations, cleaning weapons, writing letters, praying, trying to sleep. Some of them won't be coming back. Maybe me. Maybe Eddie. Maybe Pop, though he's survived so much already it seems impossible. Maybe Danny, who hasn't even really started his life yet. The chaplain said something at the end of the service. "The Lord works in mysterious ways. We may not understand his plan, but we trust that there is one." I don't know if I trust that. I don't know what I trust anymore, but I've got my mother's rosary, my father's St. Christopher medal, Helen's picture, these small things that connect me to home, to the person I was before I put on this uniform. I'm going to try to sleep now. Tomorrow is going to be a long day. If I don't make it back, if someone finds this diary, tell my mother I had her rosary with me. Tell Helen I thought about her at the end. Tell Sean that his little brother tried to be brave like him. Tell them I did my duty. Entry 4, November 19th, 1943, late evening, the night before. I can hear it. The bombardment. We're still miles offshore, but you can see the flashes on the horizon. Orange and red blooms of light. Then, seconds later, the thunder rolling across the water. The battleships and cruisers firing on Tarawa. 3,000 shells, someone said. 3 hours of continuous bombardment starting at dawn tomorrow. Then the carrier planes. Then us. They served the steak and eggs this afternoon. 0400 meal they called it, even though it was still light out. The Navy cooks outdid themselves. Real beef. Not the usual mystery meat. Eggs fried or scrambled, your choice. Fresh bread. Even coffee that didn't taste like it was brewed in a boot. We ate like condemned men. Because maybe we are. The mess hall was quieter than usual. Just the sound of forks on metal trays. Guys chewing, swallowing. Nobody really tasting anything. Danny couldn't finish his. Pushed the tray away half-eaten. You better eat, Pop said. Don't know when you'll get another hot meal. I can't, Sarge. My stomach. Pop didn't push it. We've all been there. After chow, the final briefing. Our company, Easy Company, is assigned to Red Beach 2. That's the center beach just west of this long pier the Japs built out into the lagoon. The pier is a problem. Machine guns all along it. Clear field of fire across the beach. Lieutenant Hawkins and his scout sniper platoon are going to hit the pier first. Clear it so the rest of us can land. Hawkins is a legend. Absolutely fearless. If anyone can do it, he can. We're in the second wave. 0930 hit time. We'll go in on LVT ones. The old Amtraks without the armor plate. Just thin steel and a prayer. Stay low in the boat, the lieutenant told us. Don't stand up until you're at the seawall. Follow your squad leader. Keep moving. Do not bunch up. All the things we learned in training. All the things that seem so simple until bullets start flying. Our objective is to push inland from the beach, cross the airfield, link up with the units landing on Red Beach 3 to our left. The whole operation is supposed to take 3 days, maybe less if the bombardment does its job. I keep thinking about those 500 pillboxes, about the 8-inch coastal guns, about what happens if the tide doesn't come in. After the briefing, we went back to the troop compartment to gear up. Final inspection. Every man checking every other man. Rifle, bayonet, 3 bandoliers of M1 ammunition, 2 canteens, first aid pouch, untrenching tool, gas mask, grenades, KA bar knife. The 782 gear loaded down until you can barely move. My pack must weigh 70 pounds. If I end up in deep water, it'll drag me straight to the bottom. Eddie helped me adjust my straps. I helped him. We've done this for each other so many times now. Guadalcanal. Training exercises. Now this. Hey Tommy, he said. You remember that movie we saw in Wellington with Bogart? Casablanca. Yeah, that line at the end. Here's looking at you, kid. I smiled despite everything. What about it? Just wanted you to know. You're a good friend. Best I ever had. Eddie, don't... I'm not being morbid. Just saying it. In case. I swallowed hard. You too. Best friend I ever had. We shook hands. Then we sat there in silence, listening to the distant guns. Pop made his rounds one last time, checking everyone. Adjusting a strap here. Tightening a buckle there. When he got to Danny, he put a hand on the kid's shoulder. You stick close to me tomorrow, Pop said. Do what I do. You'll be fine. Danny nodded. Looked like he might cry but held it together. It's midnight now. H hour is in 9.5 hours. We're supposed to sleep. The sergeants keep telling us to sleep, but nobody is. We're all just lying here in the dark thinking. I can hear someone praying, soft Hail Marys. Someone else is crying, trying to hide it. The ship creaks and groans. The engines thrum. The ventilation hisses. On the horizon, the flashes keep coming. Our navy pounding Tarawa into dust. Or trying to. I'm writing this by the light of a small flashlight, shielding it with my body so I don't bother anyone. My hand is cramping. The pen feels heavy. I keep thinking about home, about Quincy, about walking to the shipyard with my father in the early morning, our breath fogging in the cold Massachusetts air, about playing baseball at St. Anne's Field, diving for a grounder at shortstop, about Helen, her hand in mine at the Rialto Cinema, watching some comedy I can't even remember now. That world seems so far away, like it belongs to someone else, some other Tommy Brennan who didn't know what fear really was. Tomorrow morning we're going to climb down cargo nets, car nets into those Amtraks. We're going to cross several miles of ocean. We're going to hit a beach defended by thousands of Japanese soldiers who've had a year to prepare. Some of us won't make it off the beach. Some won't make it to the beach. The odds are simple and brutal, but we're Marines, 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines. This is what we do. I'm scared. God, I'm so scared I can barely breathe. My chest feels tight. My hands won't stop shaking. But I'll do my job. I'll follow Pop. I'll stay with Eddie. I'll try to make it through. And if I don't, at least I'll die with good men. Men I'm proud to serve with. The rosary is in my pocket. I can feel it. The beads worn smooth by my mother's prayers. I'm going to say a decade now. 1 decade. The sorrowful mysteries. Christ in the garden knowing what's coming. Afraid but accepting it. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Entry 5, November 20th, 1943, 0320 hours. Debarkation. I can barely write. My hand is shaking too much, but I need to get this down while I can. They woke us at 0200. Not that anyone was sleeping, just lying there in the dark waiting for it to start. The mess was open. More coffee, toast. Some guys tried to eat, most couldn't. Then we gear up. Final check. Every strap, every buckle, rifle action, ammunition, water, everything. The Navy is still pounding Tarawa. The whole ship vibrates with the sound of it. Continuous rolling thunder. The sky to the west lit up like dawn except it's still dark. At 0300, we moved topside. The deck was crowded with Marines, all of us loaded down with gear, shuffling toward our debarkation stations. You could see the island now, or where it should be, just a dark line on the horizon surrounded by fire. Explosions, smoke rising in huge columns, black against the stars. Dear God, someone whispered, they're destroying it. They have to be. Nothing could survive this. The cargo nets were already rigged over the side. Down below, the LVTs circled in the dark water, their engines growling, little boats waiting to take us to hell. The ship's loudspeaker crackled, then music, the Marines' hymn, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Some of the guys started singing, voices rough with fear and determination. We will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. Eddie was next to me. We looked at each other, both of us trying to be brave. See you on the beach, he said. See you on the beach. Then it was time. Climbing down a cargo net with 70 pounds of gear in the dark is terrifying. The net is slick from spray. It shifts with the ship's movement. You have to time your drop into the LVT as it rises on a swell. If you mistime it, you fall between the ship and the Amtrak. You get crushed. I went over the side, hands gripping the rope net, boots finding the horizontal ropes. One rung at a time, don't look down, don't think, just climb. The LVT below me rising and falling, 6 feet up, then 8 feet down, timing. Someone yelled, now, and I let go. Dropped into the LVT, landed hard on the metal deck. Pain shot through my ankles, but nothing broke. Other guys dropping in around me. Pop, Eddie, Danny, the rest of the squad. 20 of us cramming into a space meant for maybe 15. The LVT immediately pulled away from the ship, circling, waiting for the rest of the wave to load. We sat there in the dark. The sides of the Amtrak maybe 4 feet high. Thin steel. You could probably punch through it with a good knife. Spray coming over the sides. Cold Pacific water soaking us. The engine so loud you couldn't talk. Just sit there and think. I checked my rifle for the 100th time. Action clear. Loaded. Safety on. The metal cold and slick under my fingers. More LVTs joining the circle. Dozens of them. All of us just going around and around in the dark waiting for H hour. Some guys were vomiting. Seasickness. Fear. Both. The smell mixed with diesel fuel and salt water. Danny was across from me, his face white in the darkness. eyes wide, breathing too fast. Pop leaned over and grabbed his shoulder. Didn't say anything, just held on. The circling went on forever. 30 minutes, 45, an hour, just waiting. The worst part, waiting while your mind shows you every possible way to die. The bombardment continued. You could see it now. We were close enough. The island maybe 3 miles away. Explosions, walking across it, orange and red, white phosphorus, the whole place burning. Carrier planes came in low, the scream of dive bombers, the rattle of their guns, more explosions. Nothing's living through that, someone said. Nothing. But I remember Guadalcanal. I remember the Japs coming out of bunkers we thought were destroyed, coming out of jungle we thought was empty. They know how to hide, how to wait, how to survive. At 0830, the bombardment lifted. Sudden silence except for the LVT engines and the waves. That silence was worse than the noise. It meant it was almost time. The Amtraks formed into waves, lines of them, first wave, second wave, third, all lined up facing the island. I could see it clearly now in the growing light, tiny, just a strip of sand and palm trees, smoke hanging over everything, the pier jutting out into the lagoon like a finger. Beautiful in a strange way, all that white coral sand, the green palms, the blue water, except it was full of people who wanted to kill us. 0900. The first wave started moving, maybe 45 LVTs churning toward the beach. We watched them go, getting smaller, heading into the smoke. Then it was our turn. The driver gunned the engine. We lurched forward, started moving toward Tarawa. Eddie looked at me. I looked at him. This is it. This is really happening. I'm writing this now, scribbled fast while we crossed the lagoon. The coral reef is ahead, maybe 10 minutes away. The beach beyond that. My hands are so cold. My chest hurts. I can't breathe right. God help us. God help us all. Entry 6, November 20th, 0900 to 0930 hours. The approach. The naval bombardment has lifted. The planes have made their runs. Now it's just us and the island. Our LVT is making maybe 4 knots. The lagoon is calm, almost peaceful. The morning sun is already hot. We can see the first wave now, maybe 40 or 50 Amtraks ahead of us. They're almost to the beach, little boats crawling across blue water toward white sand. Then the Jap guns opened up. The sound came across the water, machine guns, lots of them, that distinctive rattle. And bigger guns, the boom of artillery, mortars, geysers of water erupting around the first wave. Some of the LVTs are hit. You can see them stopped in the water, burning, black smoke pouring out. Jesus Christ, Eddie said. The bombardment didn't work. They're still there, still alive, still fighting. Our LVT driver is hunched down, trying to make himself small. Can't blame him. We're all trying to do the same. The machine gun fire is getting closer. You can hear it now over the engine, zipping past, hitting the water near us. Pop yelled something I couldn't hear over the noise. He pointed at the coral reef ahead. We're crossing it now. The LVT lurched up, tracks grinding on coral. For a second I thought we'd stick. But the treads caught. We climbed over, kept moving. Behind us, I heard screaming. Looked back. The Higgins boats. Third wave. They can't make it over the reef. The water's too shallow. They're stuck. Men are jumping out, waiting. The water is up to their chests. Some of them deeper. They're trying to push forward toward the beach. 500 yards. They have to wade 500 yards. The Jap machine guns have found them. Men are falling, just disappearing under the water. Their gear dragging them down. Others trying to help them. More falling. The water is turning pink, red. The coral cuts your feet and the blood spreads. Don't look, Pop shouted. Face front. But I can't stop looking. They're dying. Hundreds of them. Just cut down in the water. Some of them make it 100 yards. Some less. Very few make it even halfway. Our LVT is still moving, getting closer to the beach. The gunfire is incredible now. Everything firing at once. The noise is so loud it stops being noise. It's just pressure, vibration. Your whole body is shaking with it. Something hit our Amtrak, a metallic clang. The whole thing shuddered, but we kept moving. The beach is right there, maybe 100 yards, smoke everywhere, bodies floating in the water, wrecked LVTs burning on the reef behind us. The seawall is visible through the smoke. Coconut logs, 3 feet high. Men huddled against it. The first wave, pinned down. Explosions all around us. Mortars, artillery, machine gun tracers floating past like deadly fireflies. Danny is praying, out loud. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. The LVT lurched again. We hit something. The beach. We're at the beach. Ramp down, someone yelled. The front ramp dropped. Daylight and smoke and noise poured in. Go! 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 Pop went first, then Danny, then Eddie, then me. I jumped into hell. Entry 7, November 20th, approximately 09:45 hours. Red Beach 2. I don't know how I'm alive. The ramp dropped and we piled out. My boots hit sand and water, ankle deep. The LVT had made it right up to the seawall but couldn't get over it. Machine gun fire everywhere, bullets hitting the sand, hitting the water, hitting the coconut logs. That wet slapping sound. I ran. 3 steps, 5, following Pop, following Eddie. Someone screamed behind me. I looked back. Danny, the new kid from Iowa. He just climbed out of the LVT. A burst hit him in the neck. Blood sprayed. He fell backward into the Amtrak. Just like that. Gone. No time to think. Keep moving. Get to cover. I dove behind the seawall, slammed into the coconut log so hard my helmet flew off, scrambled for it, put it back on. Eddie landed next to me. Then Pop, then 3 more guys from the squad. We're trapped. The seawall gives us cover from the front, but we can't move forward. The Japs have machine guns in pillboxes maybe 30 yards away. Concrete bunkers with firing slits. You can see the muzzle flashes. Behind us, the beach is carnage. Bodies everywhere. Wounded men trying to crawl to cover. The water offshore, full of Marines from the Higgins boats, still trying to wade in. Still dying. An LVT took a direct hit from something big. It just exploded. Pieces of metal and people flying through the air. The noises beyond description. Everything firing at once. Screaming, explosions, bullets hitting sand and metal and flesh. I can't breathe. The air is full of smoke and coral dust. My eyes are burning. Sand in my mouth, in my rifle. Clear your weapons, Pop is yelling. Clear the actions. I pulled my rifle bolt back. Sand in the chamber. I cleared it. Reloaded. At least the rifle works. Eddie is next to me, breathing hard. His face is gray. There's blood on his shoulder, but I can't tell if it's his or someone else's. You hit? I yelled. I don't think so. Someone crawled up beside us. A corpsman. Doc Mitchell from our company. His medical bag is already soaked with blood. I got 3 wounded here, he yelled. Need to get them out. But there's nowhere to go. Forward is suicide. Back is the killing water. We're stuck here against this seawall with Jap machine guns pinning us down. Word is spreading. Colonel Amy is dead. Our battalion commander. Killed in the water coming ashore. Lieutenant Colonel Amy, who briefed us yesterday, gone. Colonel Shoup is somewhere near the pier. Wounded, but still commanding. Lieutenant Hawkins and his scout snipers are working on clearing the pier, but it's slow. Every foot is a fight. The sun is brutal. Must be 90 degrees already and it's not even mid-morning. The sand is so hot it burns through my dungarees. I'm so thirsty. Checked my canteen. Still full. But the water tastes like metal and fear. Pop is looking over the seawall, trying to figure out where the machine guns are. How to move forward. We gotta take those pillboxes, he said, or we're dead here. But how? They're concrete and steel. Small arms fire won't touch them. We need tanks. We need flamethrowers. We need support. All we have is rifles and grenades and terror. Out in the lagoon, more men are dying. I can see them, wading through chest-deep water, holding their rifles over their heads, machine guns cutting them down. The water foaming red around them. Some of them make it, somehow, through that hell. They reach the beach and dive for cover, but so many don't. A Marine next to me, someone I don't know, he's hit. The bullet came through a gap in the logs, caught him in the face. He's thrashing. Doc Mitchell is trying to help him, but there's too much blood. Eddie is crying. I can see tears cutting tracks through the sand and smoke on his face. We gotta move, he said. We can't just stay here. But where? How? Pop is still looking over the seawall, planning something. He's always planning. An explosion behind us. A mortar hit the beach. Sand and shrapnel flying. Someone screaming. I pressed my face into the sand, trying to make myself smaller, trying to disappear. This is worse than Guadalcanal. So much worse. At Guadalcanal we could move. We could maneuver. Here we're just targets. The Japs knew exactly where we'd land. They've had a year to prepare. Every gun is sighted perfectly. Every machine gun has interlocking fields of fire. It's a shooting gallery and we're the targets. I don't know how long we've been here. Feels like hours. Probably 20 minutes. 20 minutes and Danny is dead. Colonel Amy is dead. Hundreds dead in the water. Hundreds more wounded and dying on this beach. And we haven't moved forward 10 yards. Pop turned to us. His eyes are hard, determined. Listen up, he said. We can't stay here. That pillbox, 20 yards at 2 o'clock. We're gonna rush it. Eddie, you got grenades? Yeah, Sarge. Tommy, you lay down covering fire. Everyone else, follow me. We go on 3. My hands are shaking. My whole body is shaking. 1. I can taste blood. Bit my lip without knowing it. 2. God help us. 3. We went over the wall. Entry 8, November 20th afternoon. Still pinned on Red Beach 2. I'm writing this in a shell crater, 20 yards from the seawall. Might as well be 20 miles. We made the rush. Pop leading, Eddie right behind him, me and 3 others providing covering fire. We didn't take the pillbox, but we made it to this crater. Forward progress measured in yards. 2 men didn't make it. Corporal Harrison and PFC Woods, both cut down by machine gun fire before they made 10 feet, both dead before they hit the ground. Pop is in the crater with me and Eddie and a kid named Sullivan from 3rd Squad. That's all that's left of our assault. Sullivan has a bullet through his thigh. The bone didn't break, but he can't walk. Doc Mitchell crawled out here somehow and patched him up. Now Doc is back at the seawall treating others. There are others in the crater with us, Marines from different units, all mixed together. The organization is falling apart. It's just whoever's nearby, working together to stay alive. We've been here for hours now. The sun is directly overhead. The heat is crushing. I've gone through 1 canteen already, started on the 2nd. The beach behind us is still hell. More waves trying to land. More men wading through that water. The Japs haven't let up. Every gun still firing. But we're making progress. Inch by inch. Crater to crater. Shell hole to shell hole. Colonel Shoup is near the pier. We can't see him, but word keeps spreading. He's wounded, took shrapnel in the leg. But he's still commanding, still directing the fight. His message keeps getting passed along. Casualties many. Percentage dead unknown. Combat efficiency. We are winning. Are we? It doesn't feel like winning. It feels like dying. But we're still here. Still fighting. The Japs haven't pushed us back into the sea. The beachhead is holding. Barely. But holding. Lieutenant Hawkins, the scout sniper. He's been going pillbox to pillbox along the pier, destroying them one at a time. Grenades, satchel charges, just walking up to firing slits and dropping explosives in. The man is fearless. Everyone is talking about him. Hawk. They call him Hawk. If he can do it, we can do it. Eddie used his flamethrower on a bunker an hour ago. The Japs inside were firing at us from a slit. Eddie crawled within 10 yards, stood up, sent a stream of burning fuel through the slit. The screaming. God, the screaming. I can't get it out of my head. The sound of men burning alive. I know they were trying to kill us. I know it was them or us. But the screaming. Eddie won't talk about it. He's just sitting here in the crater, staring at nothing. His hands are shaking. Pop checked the flamethrower tanks. Half empty. Save it, he said. We got more bunkers to clear. The smell is indescribable. Smoke, burning fuel, burning flesh. Dead bodies already bloating in the tropical heat. Cordite, blood, salt water. Shit and piss because men lose control when they're terrified or dead. Flies. So many flies. Where did they come from so fast? I'm sitting here with my back against the crater wall, my rifle across my lap. Everything hurts. My shoulder from the rifle recoil, my ears ringing from the noise, my hands cut up from the coral. I'm covered in sand, in my eyes, in my nose, in my mouth, in my rifle action, in my boots, everywhere. There's blood on my dungarees, I don't know whose, might be mine, can't tell anymore. Sullivan, the wounded kid, he's crying, trying not to, but can't help it. I want to go home, he's saying. I just want to go home. Don't we all? Pop is looking over the crater rim, watching, always watching, figuring out the next move. That pillbox is the key, he said. We take that, we can move up to the airfield. The airfield is the objective, the reason we're here. A strip of crushed coral that runs east-west across the island. If we can get there, cross it, we can split the Jap defenses. But it might as well be on the moon. Out in the lagoon, I can see the wrecked Amtraks on the reef. Bodies floating, equipment floating, helmets, rifles, packs. How many dead already? 500, 1,000, more. And we've only been here a few hours. Night is coming, maybe 5 or 6 hours away. What happens then? Do the Japs counterattack? Do they try to push us back into the sea? If they come in force, I don't know if we can hold them. We're exhausted, disorganized, running low on ammunition. The wounded are piling up at the beach with nowhere to go. But we're Marines. We don't give up. We don't retreat. We're going to take this island or die trying. Pop just gave the word. We're moving again, going to try for that pillbox. Eddie is checking his flamethrower. I'm checking my rifle. Sullivan is staying here. Can't move with that leg. Good luck, Sarge, Sullivan said. Pop nodded. Stay down, son. Doc will get you out. I don't know if I'm coming back from this, if any of us are. But we're going. Semper Fi. Entry 9, November 20th, evening. First night on Tarawa. Darkness fell an hour ago. The gunfire has slacked off. Not stopped, just less. Sporadic bursts, snipers, harassment. We're still on the beach. Made it another 30 yards inland. Past that pillbox finally. Eddie burned it out. Pop and I threw grenades through the slit after Eddie scorched it. 4 dead Japs inside. Burned. The smell made me vomit. Now we're dug into a shallow trench near the airfield's edge, Mistgooch. Me and Eddie and Pop and maybe 10 others. Mixed units. Nobody knows who's in charge anymore. Just sergeants and corporals keeping their people alive. We're waiting for the counterattack. Everyone says it's coming. The Japs always counterattack at night. Guadalcanal taught us that. They'll come screaming out of the darkness with bayonets and swords and grenades. We're ready. Sort of. Rifles loaded. Grenades distributed. Positions marked. Password established. San Diego challenge. Padres reply. But we're so tired. I can barely keep my eyes open. My whole body feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Eddie is next to me. His flamethrower is empty. Used the last of it on that pillbox. Now he's just got his carbine and his sidearm. Pop is checking the line, making sure everyone is awake, making sure everyone knows the password. Behind us, on the beach, the wounded are everywhere. Corpsmen working by filtered flashlight, trying to save who they can. The groaning and crying never stops. I tried to eat a K ration, got maybe 3 bites down before my stomach rebelled. The crackers taste like sand. The cheese tastes like nothing, just garbage that's supposed to keep you alive. Water is more important anyway. My second canteen is half empty. They say we'll get resupplied tomorrow. If we live that long. I can see stars. The smoke has cleared enough. Beautiful tropical sky. Millions of stars. The Southern Cross visible near the horizon. Same stars that shine over Quincy. Over Helen. My mother and sister can see these same stars. Do they know what's happening here? Have the newspapers reported it yet? Are they worried? My mother is definitely praying. I can feel it. Her rosary in her hands, the beads moving through her fingers. Hail Mary, full of grace, praying for me and Sean both, her boys in the war. I got the rosary out a few minutes ago, tried to pray. The words wouldn't come. My mind is too full of noise, of screaming, of Danny's face when he got shot, of the men burning in that pillbox. Where was God today? Where was he when Danny died? When hundreds died in that water? Father Morrison would say God was with every man in their final moment, that he received their souls. I don't know if I believe that anymore. Eddie is talking, quiet, his voice rough. You think we're gonna make it? He asked. We made it through today. That's not what I asked, sir. I looked at him. Even in the darkness I can see his eyes, hollow, haunted. I don't know, I said. Maybe, if we're lucky. I keep seeing them, Eddie said. The Japs in that bunker, burning. I can still hear them screaming. You did what you had to do. Did I? Maybe I should have just thrown a grenade. Killed them fast instead of... Eddie, stop. They would have killed us. You saved our lives. He didn't respond, just sat there staring. At nothing. This is what war does. It takes decent men and makes them do terrible things, then makes them live with it. Pop came back from checking the line. Counterattack is coming, he said. Maybe midnight, maybe later. Everyone stays alert. 2-hour watches. Tommy, you and Eddie take first watch. Yes, Sarge. And boys, if they come, kill everything that moves. Don't hesitate, don't think, just shoot. Understood, Sarge. Pop moved off to his position. Eddie and I settled in to watch. The darkness is complete. Clouds have moved in, covering the stars. You can't see Tenby, just shapes and shadows. Every sound makes you jump. Is that movement? Is that a Jap crawling close? Is that the counterattack starting? Nerves stretched so tight they were about to snap. Someone down the line fired 3 shots. Everyone tensed, ready, nothing, false alarm, spooked by shadows. Stand down, someone hissed. The night settled again. The sound of waves on the reef. The distant groan of wounded. Your own heartbeat pounding in your ears. I'm writing this by feel, can't see the paper. My hand knows the motions. The pen moving across the page. I'll look at it tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow. We survived the first day. That's something. Word came down that they're bringing in reinforcements tomorrow. 1st Battalion, 8th Marines, fresh troops, tanks, supplies. If the tide cooperates. If the Japs don't counterattack and overrun us tonight. If. I can hear Eddie breathing next to me, short, shallow. He's scared. We're all scared. Pop is asleep somehow. 20 feet away. His breathing deep and even. How does he do it? How does he just turn it off? Experience, I guess. He's been through this before. Knows you have to rest when you can. I should try to sleep during my off watch, but I know I won't. I'll just lie here listening to the darkness, waiting for the screaming to start. They're out there, the Japs, in their bunkers and trenches, maybe 50 yards away, maybe closer, waiting just like we are. They lost men today too. Our Navy shells killed some. Our planes killed more. Our rifles and grenades killed the rest. But there are still thousands of them, and maybe 2,000 of us who made it ashore alive. If that. Tomorrow we push inland. Tomorrow we try to take the airfield. Tomorrow more men die. But tonight we just hold on. We just survive until dawn. Eddie just nudged me. Hear that? He whispered. I listened. At first nothing, then rustling, movement. Something out there in the darkness. We both raised our rifles, safeties off, fingers on triggers. Who goes there? Eddie called. No answer. San Diego, I called. Silence, then, Padres, don't shoot for Christ's sake, it's me. A Marine from Easy Company, Johnson, crawling back from a listening post. We almost killed him. Password next time, Eddie hissed. Sorry. My hands are shaking so bad I can barely hold the pen. This is going to be a long night. Entry 10, November 20th, late night. Processing the first day. It's maybe 0200. I'm in a foxhole. Eddie is asleep next to me, finally. His watch is over. Mine too. Someone else is on watch now. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see it all again. Danny. The bullet hitting his neck, the spray of blood. His body falling back into the Amtrak. The Marines in the water, wading, falling, drowning under their gear. The water turning red. The pillbox. The Japs screaming as they burned. The smell. All of it. Over and over. A loop I can't stop. Around me, the others are sleeping. Some of them. Others are awake like me, staring at nothing, thinking. Pop is snoring softly. How is that possible? How can he sleep after what we've been through? But he can, because he's done this before, because he knows tomorrow will be worse if you don't rest. I tried, I really did. Closed my eyes, tried to empty my mind, but the images keep coming. So I'm writing. It helps somehow. Putting it into words. Making it real. Making it permanent. We survived. That's the important thing. Eddie and me and Pop, we made it through day one. But at what cost? Our squad started the day with 12 men. Now there's 4 of us. Danny dead. Harrison dead. Woods dead. Sullivan wounded and evacuated. 4 others dead or missing. 8 casualties out of 12. That's 2/3. If that ratio holds across the whole division, I can't think about it. Colonel Shoup's message said, casualties many, percentage dead unknown. That's putting it mildly. I saw the beach at dusk before it got dark. Bodies everywhere, piled at the seawall, floating in the lagoon, scattered across the sand. 1,500? 2,000? I don't know. Too many to count. And we've only held maybe 300 yards of beach, not even the whole island, just a thin strip of sand. Tomorrow we push inland. That's when it gets worse. The Japs will fight for every inch, but at least we'll be moving. At least we won't be trapped against that seawall, watching men die in the water. Eddie mumbled something in his sleep, reached out. I grabbed his hand, held it for a minute. He quieted down. We're like brothers now, closer than brothers. We've seen each other at our worst, scared, crying, covered in other men's blood. That bonds you, in ways nothing else can. Pop told me once, after Guadalcanal, that the real war isn't about countries or causes. It's about the man next to you. You fight for him. He fights for you. Everything else is just words. I didn't understand then. I do now. I would die for Eddie, for Pop, for any of the men in this foxhole, because they would die for me. That's all that matters out here. The Japs didn't counterattack. I don't know why. Everyone expected it. But midnight came and went. 0100 came and went. Nothing. Maybe they're too disorganized. Maybe Admiral Shibasaki is dead. We don't know. Command doesn't know. But the fact they haven't attacked might mean we hurt them worse than we thought. Maybe the bombardment did some good after all. Or maybe they're just waiting, letting us get comfortable. Then they'll hit us when we least expect it. I don't know. I'm too tired to think strategically. All I know is we made it through today, and that's a miracle. Helen's picture is in my helmet liner. I took it out earlier, looked at it by filtered moonlight, her smile, her eyes, the way her hair falls across her shoulders. She seems like someone from another world, someone I knew in a dream. Will she recognize me when I get back? Will I recognize myself? This place changes you. I can feel it happening. The person I was when I woke up this morning, that person is gone. The things I've seen, the things I've done, you can't unknow them, can't unsee them. I killed men today. I don't know how many. When you're firing into a pillbox or spraying a trench, you don't count, but they're dead because of me. Japanese soldiers, somebody's sons, somebody's brothers. I should feel something about that. Guilt, remorse, something. I don't. I just feel empty. Is that wrong? Does it make me a bad person? Father Morrison would say we're fighting evil, that the Japanese started this war, that we're defending our country and our way of life. But the men I killed today, they were just soldiers like me, following orders, doing their duty, scared. They burned and bled and screamed just like we do. I can't think about this. Not now. It'll drive me crazy. Focus on tomorrow. On the mission, on staying alive. The sky is getting lighter. False dawn. Another hour until sunrise. Another day on Tarawa. Pop is stirring. Eddie too. Time to wake up. Check weapons. Get ready. The second day is going to be worse. Everyone knows it. Day 1 was chaos. Day 2 will be grinding. House to house. Pillbox to pillbox. But we're Marines. This is what we do. I'm putting the diary away now. Tying it into my pack. If I don't make it, maybe someone will find it. Mail it home. Let my mother know what happened. Let Helen know I was thinking of her. But I'm going to make it. I have to believe that. Eddie and Pop need me. The squad needs me. And I want to go home. I want to see Quincy again. want to marry Helen, want to have a normal life, so I'm going to fight and survive, whatever it takes. Here comes the sun. Entry 11, November 21st, 0600 hours. Dawn of the second day. The sun is up. The temperature is already climbing. It's going to be another scorcher. We're still in position near the airfield. Spent the night here. No counterattack came, just sniper fire, harassment. Kept us awake but didn't overrun us. Word came down at first light. 1st Battalion, 8th Marines is landing on Red Beach 2 today. Reinforcements plus tanks, M4 Shermans finally making it ashore. But the tide is still low. Too low. They're going to have to wade just like yesterday. I can see the lagoon from here. The water is barely up to knee level in some spots. The reef is exposed. All those wrecked Amtraks from yesterday sitting there like tombstones. The Higgins boats won't make it over. More men are going to die in that water. It doesn't seem fair. We're learning the same lesson twice. In blood. Pop gathered us for a quick briefing. There are 8 of us now. 4 from our original squad. 4 stragglers from other units. Today we push to the airfield, Pop said. Cross it. Link up with the units on Red Beach 3. Squeeze the Japs into a pocket. Simple plan. Brutal execution. The airfield is maybe 200 yards away. Flat, open, crushed coral with nowhere to hide. The Japs have machine guns sighted to cover every inch. Crossing it is going to cost. Eddie is checking his carbine. He gave his flamethrower to someone else. Couldn't carry it anymore. The weight. The memories. Both too much. You okay? I asked. He shrugged. Define okay. Fair point. We ate what we could. K-rations, crackers, cheese, canned meat that tastes like salted cardboard. Washed it down with hot water from our canteens. Doc Mitchell came by to check for wounded. My hands are cut up from the coral, but nothing serious. Eddie has a gash on his arm he didn't even know about. Doc cleaned it, bandaged it. You boys did good yesterday, Doc said. Did we? Surviving isn't doing good, it's just luck. But I nodded. Thanks, Doc. He moved on, checking everyone. His medical bag is almost empty. He's been using Jap bandages and medical supplies scavenged from bunkers. The sound of firing picked up. Out at the reef, the reinforcements are landing. I can see them. Tiny figures climbing out of Higgins' boats. Dropping into the water, starting the long wade, the Jap machine guns opened up, same as yesterday. Tracers arcing across the lagoon, men falling. But more are making it through. We learned yesterday, spread out more, move faster. Don't bunch up. The lessons cost hundreds of lives, but we learned them. Tanks are coming ashore at Green Beach, the western beach. They made it work somehow. Got the Shermans onto dry land. Those tanks are going to make all the difference. 30 tons of steel and a 75mm gun. The Japs can't stop them. At least that's what we're telling ourselves. Pop stood up. Checked his Springfield. The old .03 rifle. He prefers it to the M1. Says it's more accurate. Time to move, he said. Stay low. Use every bit of cover. When I say run, you run. Got it? Got it, Sarge. We formed up in a loose line. 8 men. Going to assault an airfield defended by a couple hundred Japs in prepared positions. Either very brave or very stupid. Probably both. Eddie looked at me. See you on the other side. See you on the other side. Pop gave the signal. We went forward. Entry 12, November 21st, midday, somewhere near the airfield. We're in a bomb crater. About 50 yards from the airfield's edge. Can't move forward, can't move back. Pinned down again. The push this morning was hell. We made it maybe 100 yards before the Jap fire got too heavy. Machine guns, mortars, rifles, everything they had. We dove into whatever cover we could find. This crater, shell holes, dead ground. 2 men didn't make it. PFC Martinez from 3rd Battalion and a kid whose name I never learned. Both cut down in the open. Now there's 6 of us. Me and Eddie and Pop and 3 others. One of them is a corporal from Weapons Company. Name is Davis. He's got a bar. Browning automatic rifle. 20-round magazine. Fires like a dream when it's not jammed with sand. The other 2 are privates, young, scared, following Pop because he seems to know what he's doing. We've been here for 2 hours, taking turns shooting at Jap positions, trying to suppress them, trying to find a way forward. It's not working. The airfield is right there. so close. But it might as well be a mile away, flat, open, no cover, just crushed coral reflecting the sun like a mirror. You'd be silhouetted, an easy target. We need support. We need those tanks. We need something. Eddie crawled up next to me. We can't stay here, he said. Can't move either. So what do we do? I don't know. That's the truth. I don't know. Pop is on the field phone. Miracle he found one that works. Calling back to the beach, requesting support fire. Tanks. Anything. The response isn't encouraging. Every unit is requesting support. Everyone is pinned down. The tanks are needed elsewhere. We're on our own. There's a pillbox 30 yards to our left. Concrete bunker with a machine gun. It's been firing on us all morning. Every time we try to move, it opens up. Someone has to take it out. That's the only way we're moving forward. Pop crawled back. That pillbox has to go, he said. Davis, you and your bar keep them busy. Tommy, Eddie, you're with me. We're going to flank it. Come at it from the side. What about grenades? I asked. Save them for inside. We're using a demo charge. Pop pulled out a satchel charge. 10 pounds of TNT with a 30-second fuse. You light it, throw it, run. If it works, the pillbox is destroyed. If it doesn't work, you're dead. Who's throwing it? Eddie asked. Pop looked at him, then at me. I am, he said. Sarge, let me... I started. No. You boys cover me. When I throw it, hit the deck. Understood? Understood. We moved out, crawling, keeping low, using every inch of cover. The machine gun was still firing, but at Davis and the others. Not at us. We were invisible for the moment. 30 yards. 25. 20. Close enough to hear the Japs talking inside the pillbox. Their voices sharp and urgent. Pop checked the satchel charge. Made sure the fuse was ready. On 3, he whispered. I'll light it and throw. You boys run. What about you? Eddie asked. I'll be right behind you. Now shut up and get ready. My heart was pounding, my hands slick with sweat. Pop struck a match, lit the fuse. It sparked and hissed. 1, 2, 3. He stood up, drew back his arm, threw the satchel charge through the firing slit. The Japs saw him. The machine gun swiveled, fired. Pop went down. Eddie and I ran, dove into a shell hole 10 yards away. The charge went off. The explosion was massive. The whole pillbox seemed to lift off the ground. Concrete and steel and bodies blown outward. Then silence, ringing ears, smoke. I looked back. Pop was lying where he fell, not moving. Pop, I screamed. Eddie grabbed me. Wait for the smoke to clear. But I couldn't wait. I ran back to him. Pop was on his back, blood spreading across his chest, 3 bullet holes, right through the lungs. His eyes were open, looking at me. Sarge, hold on. Doc, we need Doc. Pop grabbed my hand. His grip was weak. Did we get it? He asked. Yes, Sarge, we got it. He smiled, just a little. Good boys. You're gonna be fine. Both of you. Don't talk, Sarge. Save your strength. But he kept talking, his voice getting weaker. Take care of Eddie, and tell my wife. He coughed. Blood came up. His eyes lost focus. Pop, stay with me. But he was gone, just like that. Sergeant Matheson, Pop it. The man who kept us alive, the father figure who showed us how to survive, dead. Eddie was beside me, crying. I was crying too. Doc Mitchell came running up, took one look at Pop. He's gone, Doc said quietly. I'm sorry. We sat there with him, in the middle of a battlefield, holding his hands, saying goodbye. He saved us so many times, and we couldn't save him. Eventually we had to move, had to keep fighting, but we carried him back to the crater first, laid him out with some dignity. I closed his eyes, took his dog tags, one for the body, one for records. Eddie put Pop's helmet on his chest. Then we went back to fighting. Because that's what Pop would want. The pillbox is destroyed. The way forward is clear. But it doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like losing everything that mattered. Entry 13. November 21st, afternoon, still fighting. We crossed the airfield, finally. With Pop gone, I don't even remember doing it. Just numbness and motion. Run, fire. Run, fire. Don't think, don't feel. We're on the other side now. The southern part of the island, Link up with the units from Red Beach 3 happened around 1300 hours. The Japs are getting squeezed, compressed into smaller and smaller pockets. But they're fighting harder, more desperate, more willing to die. Word spread through the lines about an hour ago. Lieutenant Hawkins is down. Lieutenant William Dean Hawkins. Hawk, the legendary scout sniper who cleared the pier. He's been going pillbox to pillbox since yesterday, destroying them one by one. 6, 7, maybe more. Just walking up with grenades and satchel charges. Fearless. This afternoon he took one in the chest. Heavy machine gun. Kept fighting for a while but finally collapsed. They got him to an aid station, but he's not going to make it. Doc said the wound is too bad. Too much internal damage. Hawk is dying. And everyone feels it. Like losing a light in the darkness. If a man like that can die, what chance do the rest of us have? But somehow it's also inspiring. He showed us what courage looks like. Real courage. Not the absence of fear. But doing the job anyway. I never met him. Never even saw him up close. But I feel like I knew him. Everyone does. He'll get a medal. Probably the Medal of Honor. It won't bring him back. But at least people will remember. Eddie is different since Pop died. Quieter. His eyes are flat, dead. He goes through the motions, shoots when he's supposed to, moves when ordered. But there's nothing behind it. We all cope differently. Eddie shuts down. I keep talking, keep writing, keep trying to make sense of it. Neither way is right or wrong. Just survival. The 6 of us are still together. Me and Eddie. Corporal Davis with his bar. The 2 young privates whose names I finally learned. Kowalski, no relation to Eddie, from New York, and Chen from California. Both 19 years old, both look 60. We've taken up position in a captured Jap trench. It's well built, deep, reinforced with coconut logs and sandbags. They knew what they were doing. Dead Japs are everywhere. We pulled them out of the trench and left them in a pile. Couldn't bury them. No time. They'll bloat in the sun like the others. The smell is beyond description. I've stopped noticing it, except when I think about it. Then it comes rushing back. Makes you gag. The fighting has slowed as afternoon wears into evening. Both sides exhausted. Running low on ammunition. Just holding positions. Tanks finally made it into the fight. Shermans rolling across the airfield. Their 75mm guns taking out pillboxes that we couldn't touch. The Japs have anti-tank guns, but they're not very effective. The Shermans shrug off everything except direct hits. Tomorrow the tanks will lead the push. We'll follow behind them, use them as cover, as mobile bunkers. It's the smart play. But I don't envy the tank crews. They're in steel coffins if one of those anti-tank rounds finds the right spot. Supplies finally made it to the beach. Water, ammunition, rations, medical supplies. The Navy figured out the tide problem, shuttling stuff in on Amtraks. Higgins boats bringing it to the reef edge. Transfer there. Inefficient, but it works. My canteens are full again. Fresh water. It tastes like paradise. I drank a full canteen in one go, then refilled it. Eddie did the same. We were so dehydrated. Didn't even realize how bad. The sun is setting. 3rd sunset on Tarawa. Feels like we've been here for weeks. Tonight will be dangerous. Dangerous. The Japs know they're losing. Know we're squeezing them. They might try a big counterattack. Throw everything at us. Or they might just dig in deeper. Fight to the last man. Either way, tomorrow is going to be brutal. Eddie is staring at nothing again. I want to say something, comfort him. But what is there to say? Pop is dead. Danny is dead. So many dead. And for what? This tiny island. This worthless scrap of coral. But it's not worthless. It has an airfield. It controls the sea lanes. It's a stepping stone toward Japan. We're taking it. No matter the cost. That's what Pop would say. That's what Hawk would say. So we keep fighting. For them. For each other. For all the men who didn't make it this far. The stars are coming out. Same stars as last night. As every night. Indifferent to our struggle. To our pain. I used to find stars beautiful. Now they just remind me how small we are. How temporary. Eddie finally spoke. You think Pop is in heaven? He asked. Yeah, I do. How do you know? Because if there's any justice in the universe, that's where good men go. Eddie nodded. Didn't look convinced, but wanted to believe it. I want to believe it too, need to believe it. That all this suffering means something. That death isn't just nothing, but I don't know. Not anymore. All I know is we're still here, still alive. For now. And that has to be enough. Entry 14, November 21st, evening. Reinforcements and hope. The tide came in, finally, around 1600 hours, 5 feet of water over the reef. Higgins' boats made it to the beach. No more wading through the killing zone. Just a short run from boat to sand. 6 Marines landed. Fresh troops, clean uniforms. Weapons that aren't jammed with coral sand. They look impossibly young and clean. Were we ever like that 2 days ago? It feels like a lifetime. The reinforcements brought supplies. So much ammunition we don't know what to do with it all. Cases of grenades, mortar rounds, rifle ammunition, flamethrower fuel, water, food, medical supplies, replacement gear. It's like Christmas, if Christmas involved killing people. The tanks are ashore now too, 6 Shermans total, maybe more coming tomorrow. They're positioned near the airfield, ready for the push. With fresh troops and armor, we're finally winning. Not just surviving, actually winning. The Japs are compressed into 2 main pockets, one at the junction of Red Beach 1 and 2, another at the eastern end of the island. We've got them surrounded, outnumbered, outgunned. It's just a matter of time now, but they won't surrender. That's not the Jap way. They'll fight to the last man, die for their emperor, for their honor, which means more killing, more death, even though the outcome is certain. Such a waste. A supply sergeant came through and redistributed gear, fresh dungarees for those who need them, socks, underwear, little comforts that mean everything. I got new socks, clean and dry, peeled off my old ones. My feet are a mess, blisters, cuts from coral, the beginnings of jungle rot between my toes, but fresh socks. Heaven. Eddie got a new carbine. His old one's action was so packed with sand it wouldn't cycle anymore. The new one is clean, oiled, works perfectly. He test-fired around, nodded, finally showed some emotion. Relief. Thanks, Sarge, he said to the supply. Sergeant. The sergeant looked at us, at our faces, at the 1,000-yard stare we all have now. You boys been here since D-Day? He asked. Yeah, he shook his head. You've earned a rest, once this is over. Once this is over. Tomorrow. Maybe the day after. Then what? Back to camp, rest, refit, train for the next island, because there's always a next island. Kwajalein, Eniwetok, Saipan, names we don't know yet. Islands we'll learn to hate. The island-hopping strategy across the Pacific, all the way to Japan. How many more Tarawas before this war ends? Doc Mitchell came by to check our wounds. I showed him my feet. He cleaned them, applied sulfur powder, new bandages. Keep these as dry as you can, he said. Change the bandages daily. Will do, Doc. He moved on, checking everyone. He never stops, never rests. How many lives has he saved? Dozens, maybe more. Men like Doc, like Pop, like Lieutenant Hawkins. They're the heroes, not me. I'm just trying to survive. Eddie and I sat together eating sea rations, beef stew, crackers, fruit cocktail, actual food. You think we'll make it? Eddie asked. Not the first time he's asked. We've made it this far. But tomorrow we do the same thing we did today and the day before. We do our jobs. We watch each other's backs. We survive. He nodded. Didn't look convinced. I'm not convinced either, but what else can we say? The truth is tomorrow might kill us. A random bullet. A lucky mortar. An unlucky step onto a mine. Death is random out here. It doesn't care about courage or cowardice, about good or evil. It just is. All you can do is try to stack the odds, stay low, stay alert, help your buddies, and hope. That's all any of us have. Hope. The sun has set. Another night on Tarawa, but this one feels different. We're not waiting for a counterattack anymore. We're the ones attacking tomorrow. We're going to finish this. End it. Take this island and move on. For Pop, for Danny, for all the men floating in the lagoon, for Hawk dying in an aid station somewhere, we're going to win. I can feel it. Entry 15, November 22nd, morning. Crossing the airfield. The push started at 0700. Tanks led the way, Shermans rolling across the airfield. We followed behind, using them as cover. The Japs opened up with everything: machine guns, anti-tank guns, mortars, rifle fire. Bullets pinged off the tank's armor, most of them anyway. Some found gaps, weak spots. One Sherman took a hit to the track, through a tread. The crew bailed out. We covered them, got them back to friendly lines. But the other tanks kept going, grinding forward, firing their main guns, 75mm high explosive. Each round like a thunderclap. Pillboxes exploding, bunkers collapsing, the Japs dying or retreating. We advanced behind them, leapfrogging. One group moves while another provides covering fire. Then switch, military tactics, like training, except people are actually dying. Eddie is next to me, Chen and Kowalski close by. Corporal Davis with his bar bringing up the rear. We're a team now, a squad of survivors, held together by nothing but the need to stay alive. The airfield is chaos, smoke everywhere, shell craters, wrecked equipment, bodies, Japanese and American both. You don't look at them, can't. Just step over or around and keep moving. We reach the southern edge of the airfield around 0900. The Jap command bunker is here, massive concrete structure, reinforced with steel. The tanks pounded it, round after round. The bunker shook but held. We need engineers, someone yelled. Demo charges. A squad of engineers came up, loaded with satchel charges, TNT. They're going to blow the bunker. We provided cover, firing at the Jap positions around the bunker, keeping their heads down. The engineers worked fast, placed charges at weak points, doors, ventilation shafts, gun ports. Then they ran. We all ran. The explosion was massive, multiple charges going off at once. The bunker lifted off its foundation, collapsed inward. A cloud of dust and debris shot into the air. When it cleared, the bunker was rubble, and everyone inside was dead. That was the Jap headquarters, where Admiral Shibasaki commanded from. Or did, until a few days ago. Word is he was killed on D-Day. Naval gunfire or airstrike, nobody knows for sure, but his headquarters is gone now. His staff, his command structure, everything. The Japs are leaderless, disorganized, just pockets of resistance fighting independently. It's almost over. We pushed east, clearing trenches, clearing bunkers. The Japs fought hard, no surrender, just fight until dead. Corporal Davis took a bullet to the shoulder. Doc patched him up. He wanted to keep fighting, but Doc said no, send him back. Now there's 4 of us, me and Eddie, Chen and Kowalski, 4 out of 12 who landed on D-Day, 33%. Better odds than most. We reached a trench network around 1100 hours. Complex system, multiple levels, interconnected. The Japs had been living here, fighting from here. Clearing it took hours. Grenades into each dugout, spray with rifle fire, move on. I stopped counting dead Japs after 20, too many. They're everywhere. In one dugout we found a Japanese soldier wounded, gut shot, dying. He looked at us, no fear, no hatred, just acceptance. Eddie raised his carbine. I put my hand on his arm. He's dying anyway, I said. We moved on. Left him there. Heard a single shot a minute later. He finished it himself. That was almost worse. The idea that he'd rather kill himself than surrender, than accept help. What kind of indoctrination does that? What kind of belief system? We broke for lunch around 1300. 8K rations in a captured trench. The fighting had slowed. Most organized resistance was done. Just mopping up now, clearing the remaining positions. But that's when it's most dangerous. When you think it's over. When you relax. We were sitting there, eating, when shots rang out. A Jap sniper hit Chen in the head, killed him instantly. 1 second he was eating crackers. The next he was dead. No warning, no chance. We hit the dirt, scanned for the sniper, couldn't find him. Eddie threw a grenade in the general direction. The explosion flushed the sniper out. Kowalski shot him. But Chen was still dead. We couldn't even be angry, just numb. Another name to add to the list. So now there's 3 of us. Me and Eddie and Kowalski. 3. We wrapped Chen in a poncho, left him for the burial details, took his dog tags, moved on. because that's all you can do. Move on, keep fighting, finish the job. Sergeant Matheson would understand. He'd say Chen died doing his duty. That's all any of us can hope for. But it doesn't make it hurt less. Evening now. We've pushed the Japs into a single pocket on the eastern end of the island. Maybe 300 of them left. Maybe fewer. Tomorrow we finish it. One final push. Then Betio is ours. Then we can grieve. Then we can rest. But not yet. Not tonight. Tonight we hold the line and wait for what comes next. Entry 16, November 22nd, evening. The pocket shrinks. The Japs are down to their last defensive positions. Eastern end of the island, maybe a quarter mile of beach, bunkers, trenches, a few remaining artillery pieces. Intelligence says 300 defenders, maybe less. All that's left of 4,500. The rest are dead, scattered across this island, bloating in the sun, feeding the flies. Our casualties are terrible too. Over 1,000 dead, 2,000 wounded. Out of how many who landed? 5,000? 6? The numbers are staggering. Tarawa is going to be one of the bloodiest battles of the war, by percentage, by concentration of death in such a small place. And for what? A coral atoll you could walk across in 20 minutes. But I know why. The airfield, the strategic position, the step toward Japan. It makes sense on a map, in a briefing room. Out here, stepping over corpses, it's harder to see. Eddie hasn't spoken in hours, just follows orders, shoots when told, moves when told. I'm worried about him, really worried. When Chen died, something broke. I could see it in his eyes. That last thread of hope or belief or whatever was keeping him going. It snapped. Now he's just going through the motions. A machine, not a person. I tried to talk to him, asked if he's okay. Stupid question. He just looked at me. Does it matter? Yeah, it matters. Why? We're probably dead tomorrow anyway. Eddie, don't. Just don't. So I stopped. What could I say? He's right. We might be dead tomorrow. The odds are bad, but I can't accept that. Can't surrender to it. I have to believe we're going to make it, because the alternative is Eddie's way. Numbness. Nihilism. Already dead inside. Kowalski is young but holding up better. Maybe because he joined us late. Hasn't seen as much. Hasn't lost as much. He's from Brooklyn. Talks about it constantly. Ebbets. Field. The Dodgers. Prospect Park. Places I've never been. It helps. Listening to him reminds me that there's a world beyond this island. A world we're going to return to. If we survive. The word came down an hour ago. The Japs are going to attack tonight. Final counterattack, banzai charge, whatever you want to call it. They know they're beaten, but they won't surrender, so they're going to die attacking. All of them. 300 men, screaming, charging with bayonets and swords and whatever weapons they have left. We're ready, positioned in depth, machine guns, mortars, riflemen, everyone on the line. They'll come in darkness, probably around midnight, try to overrun us through sheer numbers and fanaticism. It won't work. We've got too much firepower, too many men, too much preparation. But it's going to be terrible. I'm writing this while I can, before it starts, in case I don't get another chance. If I die tonight, I want whoever finds this to know. I was scared. Every day. Every minute. The fear never went away. I just learned to function through it. I did my duty. Not because I'm brave. Because the men next to me depended on me. And I depended on them. I lost good men. Danny, Pop, Chen, so many others. Their deaths haunt me. Will always haunt me. I don't know if this was worth it. Don't know if any war is worth the cost. But I know we had to fight. After Pearl Harbor, after the Japs invaded half the Pacific, we had to stop them. And we did. We're stopping them, island by island, battle by battle. Tarawa is almost over. We won. At terrible cost. But we won. Tell my mother I had her rosary. Tell my father I thought of him. Tell Sean to be careful in Italy. Tell Helen I loved her. Always. Tell them I died with good men. Marines, the best. Semper Fidelis. The sun is setting. One more hour of light, then darkness, then the screaming starts. Eddie is checking his rifle. Kowalski is writing his own letter. To his mother, probably. I'm going to put this diary away now. Make sure my rifle is ready. Fill my magazines. Say a prayer. Not for me, for all of us. God help us through this night. Entry 17, November 23rd, 0300 hours. The Banzai charge. They came at 0230. Exactly when we expected. The screaming started first, distant at first, then closer, louder. Banzai, Banzai, Banzai! Hundreds of voices, screaming in unison. A sound that freezes your blood. Then they appeared, dark shapes charging through the darkness, running, some with rifles, some with swords, some with nothing but bayonets strapped to bamboo poles, desperate, suicidal, terrifying. Our machine guns opened up first, the tracers walking across their formation, men falling, but others kept coming, climbing over their own dead, then rifles, everyone firing, the night lit up with muzzle flashes, mortars, dropping rounds into their ranks, explosions throwing bodies into the air, artillery, the Navy guns offshore finding them, huge geysers of sand and men, but still they came. The first wave hit our line maybe 30 seconds after the shooting started. Japs jumping into our trenches, bayonets, swords, hand-to-hand combat. I shot a man at 3 feet, saw his face, young, maybe 18. The bullet caught him in the chest. He fell backward, dead before he hit the ground. Another one came at me with a sword, actually raised it to swing. Eddie shot him from the side. The man collapsed. The sword fell from his hands. Kowalski was bayoneting a Jap who'd gotten into the trench, stabbing him over and over, screaming. It was chaos, darkness, violence, no tactics, just survive the next second. The Japs kept coming, wave after wave, climbing over their dead, screaming, dying. We kept shooting, reloading, shooting, throats raw from shouting, ears ringing, hands shaking. How long did it last? An hour? 2? Time stopped meaning anything. Just the screaming, the shooting, the dying. Then gradually the pressure eased, fewer Japs reaching our line, more bodies piled in front of the trenches. The screaming grew quieter, sporadic, individual voices instead of hundreds. Then silence, except for the moaning of wounded, Japanese and American both. Dawn came slowly, gray light revealing the scope of it. Bodies everywhere, piled 3 deep in places. Japanese soldiers who'd run straight into machine gun fire, died in heaps. Our line held. We didn't break, didn't retreat, but we paid for it. Men killed in the hand-to-hand fighting, men wounded. The cost was high. Eddie is alive. Kowalski is alive. I am alive. Somehow. We sat in the trench as the sun rose, too exhausted to move, too shocked to speak. Around us, Marines were emerging from positions, looking at the carnage, trying to process it. Doc Mitchell came through, checking for wounded, triaging. Some could be saved, some couldn't. The Japs who survived the charge, maybe a handful, retreated to their bunkers. But it's over. They're done. By noon, the island will be secure. Organized resistance ended. Betio is ours. I should feel something. Relief, pride, joy. I feel nothing. Just empty, hollow. Too much death, too much suffering. Too much horror. We won. But what did we win? A pile of corpses. A destroyed island. Trauma that will last forever. Eddie is staring at the bodies, his face blank. It's over, I said. He didn't respond, just kept staring. I don't know if he heard me, don't know if it matters. It's over. But it's not over, not really. This will stay with us, forever. The screaming, the violence, the faces of the men we killed will carry Tarawa for the rest of our lives, however long that is. Entry 18, November 23rd, 1330 hours. Betio secured. The word came at 1330 exactly. Betio is secure. Organized resistance has ended. We won. I'm sitting against a shattered palm tree. The fighting is over. Scattered snipers remain, but the battle is done. Marines are walking around, dazed, exhausted, trying to comprehend that we're not going to die today. Some are cheering, most are just sitting, staring, processing. Eddie is next to me. We haven't spoken. Don't need to, we survived. That's all that matters. I'm crying, can't help it. The tears just started and won't stop. Relief, grief, exhaustion, everything at once. Eddie is crying too, silently. Tears running down his dirty face. 3 days, 76 hours, felt like a lifetime. We landed with 12 men in our squad. Now there's 2 of us. Me and Eddie. That's all. Kowalski made it through the Banzai charge, but took a bullet this morning. Gut shot. Doc says he'll probably live if they can get him to a ship. So 2. Out of 12. Danny, Harrison, Woods, Sullivan, Martinez, Davis, Chen, Pop, Kowalski probably. All gone. Dead or wounded or evacuated. And for what? I'm looking at the island now. Really looking. Seeing it for the first time. It's tiny. Absurdly tiny. You could walk the length in 20 minutes, the width in 5. This little scrap of coral and sand cost over 1,000 American lives. Nearly 5,000 Japanese lives. Uncounted civilians, Korean laborers who were here against their will. Thousands of people dead. For this. But I know why. The airfield. Already the Seabees are working on it, repairing the damage. By next week, planes will be landing. Bombers heading west toward the Marshalls. Fighters providing cover. Tarawa is a stepping stone. A necessary evil. Part of the path to Japan. That's what the generals will say. What the newspapers will say. They're probably right. Strategically, tactically. But that doesn't make it feel worth it. Not when you're looking at your friends' names on a list of KIA. Eddie finally spoke. We made it, he said, voice hoarse. Yeah. I didn't think we would. Me neither. What do we do now? I don't know. Go back to camp, rest, heal, wait for the next island. But I didn't say that. He knows. Instead I said, we remember. We remember Pop and Danny and Chen. We carry them with us. Eddie nodded. Yeah, okay. Doc Mitchell found us. Checked us over. Minor cuts and bruises, dehydration, exhaustion. Nothing serious. You boys did good, he said. Did we? We survived. That's not the same as doing good. But I nodded. Thanks, Doc. He moved on, still working, still saving lives. The battle is over, but his job continues. Marines are collecting bodies, Japanese and American both. The Japanese will go in mass graves. The Americans will be buried with more care. Markers, records, letters home. I don't envy the burial details. Having to handle the decomposed bodies, the smell, the flies. But it has to be done. Everyone deserves that much. The sun is hot. The island stinks of death and destruction. Smoke still rising from bunkers. But it's quiet. No gunfire, no explosions, just the sound of waves and wind. Peace. Or something like it. I'm looking at the lagoon. The water is so blue. Beautiful. Like a postcard. Except it's full of corpses. Equipment. Wrecked boats. The detritus of war. It'll take weeks to clean up. Months maybe. But we did it. We took Tarawa. We won. The victory feels hollow, but maybe all victories do. Maybe this is what war really is. Not glory or honor, just survival. Just doing your duty while good men die around you. I'm going to try to sleep now. Real sleep. For the first time in 4 days. Tomorrow they'll evacuate us. Ship us to Hawaii. Camp Tarawa on the Big Island. Rest. Refit. Train for the next one. Saipan. Guam. Peleliu. Names we don't know yet. More islands, more battles, more death, but not today. Today we rest. Today we survived. That has to be enough. Entry 19, November 24th, 1943. Burial details. I'm on burial detail. They assigned us this morning, collecting and burying the dead. I thought yesterday was the worst. I was wrong. This is worse. So much worse. The bodies have been rotting in the tropical heat for 3 days, some for 4. The smell is beyond description, beyond imagination. Even with rags soaked in salt water tied around our faces, you can taste it. Death, decay, it coats your throat, gets in your lungs. We started with the Marines, collecting them from the beach, from the water, from the trenches and bunkers. Each one gets treated with respect, wrapped in a poncho, if available. Dog tags collected. One for the grave, one for records. They're buried in marked graves, rows of crosses being erected by the chaplains. names carved into wood, temporary until permanent markers can be made. I helped carry Danny, the kid from Iowa who died in the first minutes. His body was still in the Amtrak, bloated, discolored, barely recognizable. But I knew it was him, could tell from his height, his boots, his wedding ring that he wore, even though he wasn't married. A good luck charm from his girlfriend. We wrapped him, carried him to the cemetery, laid him in a grave with 5 others. The chaplain said prayers. We filled in the dirt, then we moved on to the next. Pop. Sergeant Matheson. We found him near the pillbox he died taking. Someone had covered his face with his helmet. Eddie and I carried him together. Didn't speak. Just did it. He got his own grave. NCOs do. With a cross bearing his name and rank. The date of death, November 21st, 1943. The chaplain, Father Morrison, said a special prayer. Pop was Catholic. It seemed right. Eddie broke down, just collapsed, sobbing. I held him while he cried. Then we kept working, because the dead don't bury themselves. Chen. Kowalski from New York. Not our Kowalski who got wounded. Harrison. Woods. Names and faces I knew. Men I fought beside, all going into the ground. On an island they'd never heard of 3 weeks ago. Their families will get telegrams. We regret to inform you. Form letters. Impersonal. Efficient. They'll never know how their sons died. The fear, the courage, the random chance that took them. Maybe that's better. Let them imagine glory and honor, better than the truth. The Japanese, dead are different. We don't have time or resources to bury them individually. They go in mass graves. Bulldozers dig huge pits. We stack the bodies, cover them with lime, fill in the dirt, hundreds in each grave, thousands total. They're the enemy. They tried to kill us. They would have if they could, but they were still human, still somebody's sons, somebody's brothers, somebody's fathers maybe. And now they're just meat, rotting in a pit. I helped carry a young Japanese soldier. Couldn't have been more than 17. Still had childhood in his face. He'd been shot in the chest. Dead for days. The flies had already been at him. I looked at his face as we carried him, tried to imagine who he was, what he dreamed about, why he was here. Then we threw him in the pit with 100 others. That's war, reducing people to things. Meat, problems to be solved. Corpsmen are still working, finding wounded Marines in bunkers, in shell holes, men who've been there for days. Delirious, dying of thirst or wounds or both. Some can be saved, shipped to medical ships offshore, operations, blood transfusions, recovery. Some can't. Doc Mitchell does what he can, makes them comfortable. Morphine, holds their hands, lies and tells them they'll be okay. The Korean laborers are being collected too, hundreds of them, brought here by the Japanese. Forced to build bunkers, forced to fight. Most are dead, killed in the bombardment, or shot by Marines who couldn't tell them apart from Japanese soldiers. A few survived, surrendered. They're being sent to POW camps. They'll probably be okay. The war wasn't their choice. The work goes on all day, body after body, grave after grave, pit after pit. My hands are raw, my back aches, my soul feels crushed. But we keep working, because it has to be done, because the dead deserve this much. Evening now. The burial details are ending for today. Continue tomorrow. Too many dead to finish in one day. I'm sitting on the beach, looking out at the lagoon. The water has been pumped and cleared somewhat. The bodies removed, the equipment salvaged or abandoned. It almost looks normal, beautiful even, if you don't know what happened here. But I know, we all know. This water is soaked with blood. This sand holds thousands of souls. Tarawa, Betio, names I'd never heard before. Names I'll never forget. The island of death. Eddie found me, sat down beside me. How many more? He asked. Tomorrow? Maybe another day's worth. No, how many more islands? Oh, I understood. I don't know, dozen, 2 dozen, however many it takes to reach Japan. I don't know if I can do this again. We'll have time, months probably, to rest, to heal. That's not what I mean. I knew what he meant. Can your soul survive this again, and again, and again? I don't know the answer. We'll do it because we have to, I said. For the guys who didn't make it, for Pop and Danny and Chen, We owe them that. Eddie nodded, didn't look convinced. I'm not convinced either. But what choice do we have? Desert? Go home? Quit? We're Marines. We finish what we start, even if it kills us, even if it breaks us first. The sun is setting, fourth sunset on Tarawa. Tomorrow we'll leave, board ships, sail away, leave the dead behind, buried in this coral sand, forgotten by everyone except those who knew them. But I won't forget, can't forget. This diary is proof, testimony, witness to what happened here. Someday, when this war is over, maybe people will read this, will understand what we went through, what we sacrificed. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they can't. Unless you were here, you can't really know. But I had to write it anyway, for Pop, for Danny, for all of them. So their deaths meant something. So they're not forgotten. Entry 20, November 25th through 26th, 1943. Walking the battlefield. The burial details finished today. All the dead accounted for, buried or evacuated. 1,009 Marines killed in action, 2,101 wounded, over 3,000 total casualties, the Japanese, 4,690 dead, only 17 soldiers captured alive, plus 129 Korean laborers. The Japanese fought to annihilation, chose death over surrender, on an island less than 300 acres in size. The numbers don't make sense. Can't make sense. The density of death is incomprehensible. I walked the island today, all of it, wanted to see it, understand it, remember it. Started at Red Beach 2. Where we landed, the seawall is still there, pockmarked with bullets, stained with blood that won't wash away. The sand is churned up, mixed with spent shells, fragments of equipment, personal effects. I found a photograph in the sand, a Japanese soldier's family, wife and children, smiling. The photograph water-stained and torn. I don't know which body it came from. They all look the same now. I kept walking, past the pillboxes we fought so hard to take. Inside them, the concrete walls are scorched from flamethrowers, blood splattered, empty shell casings ankle deep, the bunker where Pop died, the pillbox he sacrificed himself to destroy. It's just rubble now. But I stood there for a long time, remembering. Thank you, Sarge, I said out loud. You saved us. Felt stupid talking to a pile of concrete, but I needed to say it. The airfield, already operational, Seabees worked miracles, filled the craters, cleared the debris, planes landed this morning, fighters and bombers. That's what we won. This strip of crushed coral, this platform for the next offensive. Worth it? I don't know. Ask the mothers of the 1,000 dead Marines. Ask them if it was worth it. The eastern end of the island, where the Banzai charge originated, the ground is covered in bodies still. Japanese soldiers who died running at our guns. I counted over 200 in one small area, piled on each other, a monument to futility, to fanaticism, to waste. Did they believe they could win, or did they just choose how to die? I'll never understand that. The willingness to die for a lost cause, the refusal to surrender even when it's hopeless. Maybe it's cultural, maybe it's training, maybe it's something I can't comprehend because I'm American. All I know is it led to this. Thousands dead on both sides. For nothing that couldn't have been achieved with surrender, the pier. Where Lieutenant Hawkins died, they've named it after him. Hawkins Pier. A memorial to his courage. He died yesterday, never regained consciousness after being shot. Doc said he just slipped away. Peaceful at the end. He'll get the Medal of Honor. Posthumous, deserved, but he'd probably rather be alive. I stood at the end of the pier, looked out at the lagoon, the reef, the wrecked Amtrak still sitting there, rusting already in the salt water. Marines died in those Amtraks, drowned when they were hit, burned when they caught fire. More died trying to wade from the reef to shore, cut down in the water, sinking under their gear. That image, Marines struggling through chest-deep water while machine guns cut them down. That's the image of Tarawa. That's what people will remember, if they remember at all. I walked back to our bivouac area. Eddie was there, sitting, staring. You okay? I asked. Stupid question. None of us are okay. Won't be okay for a long time. Maybe ever. I keep seeing them, Eddie said. The Japs, burning, screaming. I know. How do you live with that? How do you go back to normal after this? I don't know. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just learn to carry it. He nodded, didn't look satisfied with the answer. I'm not satisfied either. But it's all I have. The chaplains are holding services, memorial services for the dead. Marines and officers gathered, praying, singing hymns. I didn't go. Can't. Don't have the words. Don't have the faith. If God exists, he wasn't here. Wasn't on this island. Wasn't in that water where men drowned. Or he was. And he did nothing. Watched and did nothing. Either way, I can't pray to him right now. Maybe later. Maybe when the anger fades. When the grief becomes manageable. But not now. The ships are here. Transports. Hospital ships. Ready to take us off this island. Tomorrow we load up. Say goodbye to Tarawa. Leave the dead behind in their graves. Sail to Hawaii. To Camp Tarawa. Rest. Recovery. Eventually, training for the next island. Saipan. 7 months from now. We don't know that yet, but it's coming. Another island, another battle, another harvest of death. How many times can we do this? How many times can we watch friends die? How many times can we kill and survive and go on? I don't know, but we'll find out. Because the war doesn't stop, doesn't care about our trauma, doesn't give us time to heal properly. It just keeps going, and we keep going with it until we're dead or until it's over. Whichever comes first. Eddie and I are going to get drunk tonight. Found some of Pop's stash. Whiskey. He'd been saving. He'd want us to have it. We're going to toast him, and Danny, and Chen, and all the others. Then we're going to try to forget. For a few hours. Just get numb and forget. Tomorrow we'll remember again. But tonight we forget. That's survival. Finding moments of forgetting between the remembering. The sun is setting. Last sunset on Tarawa. The sky is beautiful, orange and red and purple. The same sky that shone on thousands of deaths. Indifferent, beautiful, eternal. Tomorrow we leave, but we're taking Tarawa with us. In our heads, in our hearts, in our nightmares. You don't walk away from something like this. You carry it, forever. Semper Fidelis, always faithful. To the to our brothers, to the memory of those who fell, always. Entry 21, November 27th, 1943. Evacuation. We loaded onto the transports this morning. Clean ships, clean bunks, fresh water, hot food. It felt wrong, too comfortable, too normal, like we don't deserve it after what happened. Eddie and I stood at the rail as the ship pulled away, watching Betio shrink in the distance, the white sand, the shattered palms, the rows of crosses. Other Marines stood with us, silent, watching. Nobody spoke. What was there to say? We left 1,000 men on that island, buried in coral sand, marked with wooden crosses that'll rot in a few years. Eventually they'll be moved, transferred to proper military cemeteries, Honolulu, Arlington, home. But for now they're there, on Tarawa, alone. The island got smaller, just a dark line on the horizon, then nothing, gone. But not gone from our heads, never gone from there. Below decks, the Navy provided everything. Clean uniforms, showers, real bunks with clean sheets. I stood in the shower for 20 minutes, watching the dirt and blood and coral dust wash away. The water at my feet turning brown, then pink, then clear. Clean on the outside, but not inside. Can't wash away what's inside. Eddie was in the shower next to me. I could hear him crying. The water covering the sound, but not completely. I pretended not to hear. Gave him his privacy. We all cry now, when we think nobody's watching. In the shower. In our bunks at night. In the head. Crying is better than what some guys are doing. They're not crying, not talking, not feeling, just empty. I'm worried about them more than the ones who cry. The mess is serving real food. Steak, eggs, potatoes, fresh bread, coffee that doesn't taste like oil. I tried to eat. Managed a few bites. My stomach isn't ready. Too used to K rations and fear. Eddie didn't even try. Just drank coffee. Stared at nothing. Corpsmen are going around checking everyone. Physical exams, mental health checks. Trying to identify who needs help. Doc Mitchell is one of them. He's been promoted to Chief Petty Officer. Deserved. He saved so many lives. He checked me over. Weight loss, dehydration still, minor cuts and infections. Nothing serious. How are you doing? Really? Nate asked. I'm okay, Doc. He looked at me, knew I was lying, but he didn't push it. If you need to talk, I'm here, or the chaplain, or anyone. Don't hold it in. Thanks, Doc. But I won't talk. Can't talk. The words won't come. How do you explain what we saw, what we did? You can't. So you don't try. The ship is heading to Hawaii, Pearl Harbor first, then around to Hilo, Camp Tarawa on the Big Island, named after the battle we just fought. Already a memorial before the battle is even processed. They say we'll have months there, rest, replacement troops to fill out the division, training, preparation for the next operation, but nobody's talking about the next operation yet. Too soon, too raw, just rest. That's all anyone can think about, rest and trying to forget. Kowalski, the one from Brooklyn who got gut shot, he's on the ship too. In the medical bay, the doc saved him. He'll live. I visited him. He was asleep, pale, thin, but breathing. He'll get sent stateside probably. Medical discharge. Go home. See Brooklyn again. Lucky bastard. Eddie and I are sharing a bunk room with 4 others. All from 2nd Marines. All survivors. We don't talk much, just exist in the same space. The silence is comfortable. Understanding. We've been through it, all of us. We don't need words. Night now. First night off Tarawa. The ship's engines thrumming. The ocean calm. I'm lying in my bunk. Clean sheets. Actual pillow. Luxury after sleeping in foxholes. But I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see it. The beach, the water, the bodies, Danny's face, Pop's last words, Chen dying while eating crackers, the screaming of the banzai charge, the smell of burning flesh, the weight of carrying corpses. All of it. Looping. Endless. Maybe it'll fade. Maybe time will help. Maybe eventually I'll sleep without nightmares. Or maybe not. Maybe this is just life now, the price of survival. I got out my diary, this diary, looked through the entries, all the words I've written. It's soaked in places, stained with salt water and sweat and blood, but readable. This is my testimony, my witness, proof that we were there, that it happened, that good men died on a tiny island for a strategic objective that makes sense on paper but felt like hell on the ground. Someday, when I'm old, if I get old, I'll read this again. Remember, honor those who didn't make it. For now, I'm just putting it away, trying to rest, trying to heal. Tomorrow is another day, another step away from Tarawa, another step toward whatever comes next, but Tarawa will always be with me, with all of us. The island of death, the island that changed us forever. We survived. That has to mean something, has to matter. I'll make it matter, somehow. I'll live for those who couldn't. I'll remember for those who can't be remembered. That's my promise. To Pop, to Danny, to all of them. I'll carry them forward. Always. Semper Fidelis. Entry 22, early December 1943. En route to Hawaii. We've been at sea for 4 days now. The island is hundreds of miles behind us. Gone but not forgotten. I finally wrote to Helen. Really wrote. Not just a short note saying I'm alive, a real letter. I tried to tell her what happened, what Tarawa was like. But the words didn't work. How do you explain hell to someone who's never been there? I ended up just telling her I'm okay, that I'm coming to Hawaii for rest, that I'll write more when I can, that I love her, that I think about her every day, that the thought of home, of her, is what keeps me going. Simple truths, better than the complicated ones. Eddie finally talked to me today, really talked, not just one-word answers. We were on deck, watching the ocean, the water so blue and calm it seemed impossible that death existed. I keep thinking about Pop, he said. Me too. He saved us, so many times, and we couldn't save him. He knew the risk, he did it anyway, that's who he was. Eddie nodded. I want to be like that. Like him, brave. But I don't know if I can. You already are. You made it through Tarawa. That took courage. That was just survival, not courage. Sometimes they're the same thing. We stood there in silence, the wind in our faces, the sun warm, so different from the island. What do you think happens now? Eddie asked. We rest, we heal, we get ready for the next one. And after that? After the war? I've been thinking about that. What happens if we survive? If we make it all the way through? I don't know, I said. Go home. Try to be normal again. Use the GI Bill. Maybe go to college. Marry Helen. Have a life. You think we can? Be normal again? We have to try. Eddie looked at me. I don't feel normal. I feel broken. We all are. But maybe broken things can heal, given enough time. Maybe. Word came down today about the newspapers, about how Tarawa is being reported back home. The casualties shocked everyone. The newsreels showed footage, bodies floating in the lagoon, Marines waiting under fire, the devastation, people are angry, asking if it was worth it, if we should have even tried. Families of the dead are writing letters to Admiral Nimitz, to General Holland Smith, demanding answers. Why did so many die? Why wasn't the bombardment longer? Why weren't there more Amtraks? Good questions. Questions we've been asking ourselves. The official response is that lessons were learned, that future operations will be better planned, better equipped, that Tarawa, terrible as it was, will save lives in the long run. Because now we know what works and what doesn't. I want to believe that. Want to believe Pop and Danny and Chen didn't die for nothing. But it's hard. So hard. Some of the guys are angry about the public reaction. How dare civilians question what we did? They weren't there. They don't understand. I'm not angry. They're right to question. They're right to demand answers. War should be questioned, should be examined, should never be accepted as inevitable or necessary without proof. We proved it was necessary. Tarawa had to be taken. The airfield was too valuable, the strategic position too important. But the cost, the terrible cost, that should be questioned, should be studied, should drive us to do better next time. So the deaths mean something, so we don't repeat the same mistakes. That's the only way to honor the fallen, learn from their sacrifice, make it count. The ship's library has newspapers from home. I've been reading them, trying to understand how the war is being seen, patriotic stories mostly, heroes and victories, the righteous fight against tyranny. All true in a way, but incomplete. They don't talk about the fear, the randomness of death, the way war breaks people even when it doesn't kill them. They don't talk about Eddie crying in the shower, about Marines who can't sleep, about the weight of carrying your friend's body to a grave. Maybe that's necessary. Maybe the home front needs the simple story, the clean narrative. But someday the full story needs to be told, the whole truth. That's why I'm keeping this diary, why I'm writing everything down, so someday someone will know. The full truth, not just the patriotic version. Eddie and I talked about Pop's family today, his wife, his 2 kids, 7 and 9 years old. They'll get a telegram, a folded flag, a letter from his commanding officer talking about honor and sacrifice. But they'll never really know him, never know how he led us, how he saved us, how he died with courage. We decided to write to them, both of us, tell them what Pop meant to us, how he was more than a sergeant, how he was family. It won't bring him back, won't ease their pain, but maybe it'll help them understand. Maybe that's all we can do. Bear witness, remember, tell the stories, keep the dead alive through our words and memories. The sun is setting. Another Pacific sunset, beautiful and indifferent. Tomorrow we'll reach Pearl Harbor. See the wreckage from December 7th, 1941. The reason we're fighting. Then on to Hilo, to Camp Tarawa, to rest and healing and preparation for whatever comes next. Kwajalein, Saipan, Guam, Peleliu. Names we'll learn. Islands we'll hate. The war goes on, with or without us, until Japan surrenders or until we take Tokyo. However long it takes, however many islands, however many battles, we'll be there because we're Marines, because we made a commitment, because the dead deserve to have us finish what they started, semper fidelis, always faithful, to the end, whatever that end might be. Entry 23, December 1943. Final entry. We arrived at Camp Tarawa yesterday, big island of Hawaii, Hilo side, green hills, clean air, paradise after hell. The camp is new, built for us, named for the battle we just fought. A memorial and a home. We're settling in, getting assigned to barracks, meeting replacement troops who'll fill out our division, young faces who don't know yet what they're getting into. I look at them and see them and Danny, fresh, eager, innocent. They won't be innocent for long. Eddie and I are staying together. Same squad. They're rebuilding the 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines from survivors and replacements. We'll train them, teach them what we learned, try to keep them alive when the next battle comes. Saipan, June, 7 months away. We don't know that yet, but it's coming. More fighting, more dying, more islands bought with blood. But for now, we rest. I walked to the edge of camp this morning, looked out at the Pacific, the ocean that connects us to Tarawa, to home, to everywhere. It's beautiful here, peaceful. The wind in the trees sounds like music, so different from the island, from the smoke.